The night sky over northern Alaska was clear and very cold. Stars filled every corner of the black dome above. A small research station sat alone on the snow-covered ground. Its lights glowed yellow against the white emptiness. Inside, 5 humans worked late. They did not know that eyes from far away had been watching them for many years. High above, in silent orbit, a ship from the Galactic Concorde waited. The ship was long and smooth, made of dark metal that drank in starlight. Inside its command room stood 2 beings who were not human. One was Klix, a Vexari. His body looked like a tall insect, with 6 thin legs and a hard shell that shone green under the lights. His large black eyes never blinked. The other was Lyra Ven, a Zorath. She was tall and thin, her skin clear like glass, so you could see the soft blue light moving inside her. Both wore heavy suits that helped them stand in Earth's gravity. Without the suits, they would collapse like broken sticks. For 3 Earth years, the Concorde had studied this world from hiding. They sent tiny probes that floated like dust. The probes listened to radio words, watched moving pictures, counted the number of metal birds that flew, and measured the air and water. The conclusion was always the same. Humans were young. They had not yet left their planet in great numbers. They fought among themselves. They built machines, but the machines were simple compared to the ships of the Concorde. The Council decided it was safe to make contact. A small team would land, speak polite words, and learn more before the rest of the galaxy came closer. The lander came down quietly behind a low hill, 10 kilometers from the station. Snow swirled around its legs as it settled. Klix and Lyra Ven stepped out first. Their suits made deep footprints. 4 other Concorde members followed, 2 more Vexari, and 2 Zorath. They carried gifts in sealed boxes, small crystals that stored knowledge, soft fabrics that never tore, and seeds from peaceful worlds. They walked through the snow toward the station lights. The cold did not bother them much. Their suits kept the temperature perfect, but the gravity pulled hard. Every step felt heavy. Klix felt pain in his leg joints already. Lyra Ven moved slower, her glass-like body trembling a little inside the armor. At the station door they stopped. A camera above the door turned toward them. A voice came through a speaker. "Who is there? This is a private research area." Klix answered in clear English, the language the probe said was most common here. "We come in peace. We are visitors from another world. We wish to speak with your leaders." Silence. Then the door opened. Warm air rushed out. A man stood there in a thick coat. He was not tall, but his shoulders were wide. His hair was short and brown. He looked at them without fear, only surprise. "I'm John Harper," he said, "biologist. Come in before you freeze, though I guess you don't freeze easy." Behind John stood a woman with short black hair and sharp eyes. She wore a blue jacket with many pockets. "Lisa Monroe," she said, "engineer. If you're real aliens, prove it fast. If you're a prank, I'm calling security." The visitors stepped inside. The door closed. The humans stared. The aliens stared back. Klix noticed the room right away. It was small and full of things. Metal shelves held boxes and tools. A table in the middle had papers, screens, and half-eaten food. The air smelled of coffee and machine oil. Everything looked used and strong. John pointed to some chairs. "Sit if you can. Those suits look heavy." Lyra Ven tried to sit. The chair legs bent a little under her suit's weight. She stood again quickly. "Our suits are necessary," she explained. "Your gravity is strong for us. We come from lighter worlds." Lisa crossed her arms. "1G is strong? Most of us complain it's too light." Klixis tilted his head. The word G meant gravity unit. Humans lived in 1 full G every day and called it light. His own homeworld had only 4/10 of that. Even with the suit, He felt like he carried another body on his back. John walked to a corner and picked up a large metal crate. It was full of rock samples and equipment. The crate weighed more than 200 kilograms. John lifted it with one hand as if it were a box of books. He moved it to the side to make space. "Sorry about the mess," he said. "We just got new gear in yesterday." Clixus stopped moving. His sensors screamed warnings. The force needed to lift that mass so easily was impossible for most species without machines. Vexari workers would need 6 of their kind and a lift frame to move that weight. Yet this human did it alone, with one arm, and did not even change his breathing. Lisa noticed the alien staring. She laughed. "John does that all the time. He's our unofficial forklift." Another human came in from a side door. He was big, with short blonde hair and arms thick from work. "Kevin Brooks," he said. "Security and general help. You folks need anything? Water? Food?" Lee Raven shook her head slowly. "We do not eat as you do, but thank you." Kevin nodded. Lisa tossed him a heavy toolbox from across the room. It flew in a smooth arc. Kevin caught it one-handed without looking away from the visitors. The toolbox made a solid thump against his palm. He set it down gently. Clix recorded every movement. His mind raced. These humans moved heavy objects the way his people moved small tools. They did not strain. They did not shout for help. They simply did it. John pulled up a chair for himself and sat. "So," he said, "you're here to talk. What's the plan? Trade? Alliance? Or just saying hello?" Clix spoke carefully. "We wish to learn. Your world is new to us. We hope for friendship." Lisa smiled a little. "Friendship sounds nice, but we have questions too. How did you find us? Why now?" Lyra Ven answered, "We have watched quietly. Your signals reached far. We decided the time was right." Kevin leaned against the wall. "Watched quietly? Like spies?" "Not spies," Clix said quickly. "Observers. We do not wish harm." John rubbed his chin. "Okay, no harm. That's a start. Want a tour? Our station isn't big, but it's home." The aliens agreed. John led them through narrow halls. He pointed out the lab, the kitchen, the sleeping rooms, the generator shed. At one point, a pipe had frozen and burst. Water had turned to ice on the floor. John grabbed a thick metal bar that had fallen from the ceiling. He bent it back into place with his hands, twisting the steel like it was thick wire. Clix felt cold fear move through his shell. That bar was made to hold weight. Its strength rating was high. Yet John shaped it without tools, without effort. Lisa saw the look on the aliens' faces. "John's got strong hands," she said. "Comes from years of field work. Don't worry, he won't bend your ship." Kevin laughed. "Unless you make him mad." The joke hung in the air. The aliens did not laugh. They returned to the main room. John offered coffee again. The aliens refused politely. Lyra Ven asked questions about human life, food, family, work, dreams. John and Lisa answered openly. Kevin stood near the door, arms crossed, watching everything. After an hour, Clix spoke. "We thank you for your welcome. We will return to our ship now. We hope to speak again soon." John stood. "Anytime. Doors open. Just don't land on our roof next time." The visitors left. Outside, the cold bit harder. They walked back to the lander in silence. Once inside, the door sealed. The suits hissed as pressure changed. Clixine turned to Lyra Ven. "Did you see?" She nodded, her blue light pulsing fast. "They lift what would break us. They bend what would snap our frames. And they do it without thought." Another Vexari, a technician named Zik, spoke softly. "I measured the crate John moved. 218 kilograms. He used one arm." Lyra Ven looked out the window at the small station lights. "They live in gravity that crushes us. Their bodies are built for it. But they act as if it is normal, As if everyone can do these things. ClickSign opened a private channel to the flagship above. "Report to Council," he said. "First contact made. Humans friendly. Humans curious. Humans dangerously strong. They do not seem to know how strong." The ship rose quietly into the dark sky. Below, the station lights stayed on. Inside, John, Lisa, and Kevin sat around the table. "Strange night," John said. Lisa sipped her coffee. "Yeah, but they seemed okay. Nervous, but okay." Kevin smiled. "Next time I'll show them how to lift a snowmobile. Bet they'd faint." They laughed. Outside, snow fell again, covering the footprints of the visitors. Far above, the aliens watched the blue planet turn. They felt something new. Not anger, not hate. Fear. Quiet, deep fear. Because the most terrifying thing about humans was becoming clear. They had the strength of gods, and they hardly realized it. The next morning, the sky stayed dark and heavy with clouds. Wind howled around the research station like an angry animal. Snow fell thick and fast. Inside the main room, the humans drank hot coffee and checked weather screens. The storm had come early and strong. It was not supposed to hit until evening. John Harper stood by the window. He watched white walls of snow move across the frozen ground. "This is bad," he said. "Visibility's 0. Power lines might go down." Lisa Monroe typed on her tablet. "Generator has fuel for 3 days. We stay put. No one goes outside unless we have to." Kevin Brooks checked the outside cameras. "Our alien friends are still here. Their lander is parked behind the hill. No movement." The visitors had asked to stay one more night. The storm made leaving impossible. Their small ship was not built for high winds or thick snow, so they waited in their own sealed section of the station. The humans had given them a storage room with heat and lights. It was polite. It was also smart. No one wanted aliens freezing outside. Klix and Lyra Ven sat inside their temporary room. Their suits stayed on. They talked in low clicks and soft hums. The storm noise came through the walls like distant thunder. "We should have left yesterday," Klix said. His antenna moved nervously. Lyra Ven pulsed her inner lights slowly. "The Council wants more data. We stay. We watch." A sudden loud crack split the air. The whole station shook. Lights flickered. Then everything went dark. Emergency red lights came on. Alarms beeped. John ran to the control panel. "Power failure. Main line must be down. Switching to generator." Lisa followed. "I'll check the breaker room." Kevin grabbed a flashlight. "I'll go with her." Outside, the wind screamed louder. Snow piled against the walls. Inside the alien room, Klix felt the gravity pull harder somehow. Fear grew in his chest. Minutes later, another sound came. A deep groan of metal. Then a crash. The roof support beam in the main hall had given way under the weight of ice and snow. It fell across the floor. 2 Vexari technicians who had been checking equipment were trapped underneath. Their thin legs stuck out. Their shells cracked. They made high, painful clicks. Klix rushed forward. He tried to lift the beam. His 6 legs pushed. Nothing moved. The beam was steel, thick and heavy. Tons of weight pressed down. Vexari bodies were not made for this. Even with suits, their strength was small. Lyra Ven tried next. She wrapped her long arms around the beam. Her glass skin glowed bright with effort. The beam did not budge. She stepped back, breathing hard through her suit filters. The trapped Vexari clicked weaker now. One stopped moving. The others still struggled. Klix looked at Lyra Ven. His voice was quiet. "We cannot save them. Protocol says we must leave them. Mercy end if rescue fails." Lyra Ven hesitated. "We wait. Humans may help." At that moment the door opened. Kevin Brooks stepped in. He carried a big flashlight. Snow melted off his boots. Behind him, came Megan Torres, the station medic. She had dark hair tied back and calm eyes. Kevin saw the collapsed beam right away. He saw the trapped aliens. Without a word, he walked over. "Move back," he said to the aliens. Click stared. "It is too heavy. Many tons. You cannot." Kevin ignored him. He bent down. His big hands found good grips on the steel. He planted his feet wide. His legs tensed. Muscles pushed under his thick jacket. He pulled. The beam moved. Not fast. Not easy. But it moved. Inch by inch, the steel lifted. Snow and ice cracked and fell off. Kevin's face turned red. Sweat appeared on his forehead. His breath came in short bursts. But he did not stop. Megan slid in low. She reached under the beam. Her hands found the first trapped Vexari. She pulled him free. The alien shell was broken in places. Legs bent wrong. Megan dragged him to the side, gently. Kevin held the beam up. His arms shook now. Veins stood out on his neck. But he kept it steady. "Second one," he grunted. Megan went back. She pulled the other Vexari clear. This one was still clicking weakly. Kevin waited until Megan was safe. Then he lowered the beam slowly. It hit the floor with a heavy thud. Dust and snow puffed up. Kevin stood straight. He wiped his face with his sleeve. "That was heavier than I thought," he said. "Sorry for the delay. Had to get my footing right." The room was quiet except for the wind outside. Clicks and Lyraven stared. Their sensors had recorded everything. The beam weighed over 3,000 kilograms with the ice on top. Kevin had lifted it alone. No machine, no help. His heart rate, according to scans, had gone up only a little. His breathing returned to normal in seconds. Megan checked the injured aliens. "Broken limbs, internal damage. We have a med bay. I can stabilize them." She looked at Kevin. "You okay?" Kevin rolled his shoulders. "Yeah, just a pull. Nothing serious." He walked to a wall cabinet. He took out a bottle of water and drank half in one go. Lyraven stepped closer. Her voice was soft. "You lifted that alone." Kevin shrugged. "Had to. Couldn't leave them there." Clix spoke. "Our kind would need a full work team and powerlifters. Even then it would be hard. You did it with your body." Kevin looked surprised. "Really? It's just a beam. We train with heavier stuff sometimes." Megan smiled a little. "Comes in handy during storms." The aliens did not smile back. They helped move the injured to the med bay. Megan worked fast. She used splints, pain medicine, and bandages made for humans, but good enough for now. The Vexari would live. They would heal slowly. Later, when the injured rested, the group sat in the main room again. Lights were back on. Generator hummed steady. Coffee smelled strong. John joined them. He had been outside checking the lines. His coat was covered in snow. "Power should hold now. We patched the break." Lisa came in after him. "Roof needs work tomorrow, but we're safe." Clix looked at Kevin. "Why did you not use tools? A jack? A lift?" Kevin thought for a second. Didn't think of it. Too slow anyway. Hands were faster. Lyraven pulsed brighter. "You risked injury. The weight could have crushed you." Kevin laughed softly. "Nah, I've lifted worse. Gym records back home. Deadlift 500 pounds easy. This was more, but same idea." The aliens did not know what a deadlift was, but the numbers their scanners gave made them cold inside. 500 pounds was nothing to humans. Kevin had lifted 6 times that much tonight, and he called it more. John noticed the aliens quiet. "You okay? You look shocked." Clix answered carefully. "We are not used to such strength. On our worlds, gravity is light. Bodies are light. We use machines for everything heavy." Lisa nodded. "Makes sense. Earth gravity builds tough people. We don't notice it much." Kevin stretched his arms. "Yeah, most days I forget how strong I am. Just feels normal." Lyra then recorded that sentence in her mind. Normal. To them, godlike power was normal. The storm continued outside. Wind rattled the walls. Inside, humans talked about repairs, food, and jokes. Aliens listened. They watched every move. John picked up a chair to move it. Lisa tossed a heavy blanket across the room. Kevin lifted a box of tools to clear space. Each action was casual. Each action was impossible for most of the galaxy. Clixis sent a silent message to the flagship. Update: human named Kevin lifted collapsed beam. Weight: 3,040 kilograms. Held for over 60 seconds. No assistance. Said only, sorry for the delay. The reply came fast. Confirm readings. Observe more. Do not provoke. Lyra then looked at the humans laughing together. John told a story about a bear he once scared off with a loud shout. Kevin flexed his arm and pretended to show off. Megan rolled her eyes. The aliens felt small, not just from gravity, from something deeper. They began to understand. Humans did not show their full strength every day. They held it back, all the time, to keep from breaking doors, to keep from hurting friends, to keep the world around them from cracking. And that made the aliens more afraid than ever. Because if humans ever stopped holding back, the storm raged on. Snow piled higher. Inside, the humans planned for morning. The aliens sat in silence. They watched, they waited, and they feared what they saw in the simple actions of people who hardly realized their own strength. The storm passed during the night. By morning, the sky cleared to a pale blue. Sunlight sparkled on fresh snow. The research station looked peaceful again. Roofs were cleared, power lines held. The injured Vexari rested in the medbay with Megan watching over them. Clixis and Lyra then met with the humans in the main room. They wanted to show thanks for the rescue. They also wanted to learn more. The council above had sent new orders. Observe human physical activity. Do not interfere. Record everything. John sipped coffee. You folks look like you slept okay. Suits comfortable? Lyra then pulsed softly. We do not sleep as you do, but we rested. Thank you again for saving our team. Kevin stretched his arms over his head. No problem. Glad they're stable. Clixis spoke carefully. We wish to see more of your daily life. Your strength interests us. Perhaps you can show us how humans train their bodies. You mean, like a workout? Sure. We have a small gym in the back shed. Nothing fancy. Weights, mats, pull-up bar. You can watch if you want. The aliens agreed quickly. They followed the humans to the attached building. It was cold inside, but heaters ran. The floor had thick rubber mats. Metal racks held bars and plates. A heavy bag hung in one corner. A few benches sat along the wall. Kevin opened the door wide. Come in, just stay back. Don't want anyone getting hit by accident. The aliens entered. Their heavy suits made soft thuds on the mats. They stood near the wall. Scanners hummed quietly. Brian Hayes arrived last. He was a Marine on loan to the station for security. Tall, lean, with short brown hair and steady eyes. He wore simple workout clothes, gray shirt and black shorts. He nodded to everyone. Morning, Brian said. Heard we have an audience today. Lisa smiled. Yeah, show them something basic. Nothing crazy. Brian walked to a rack. He selected a long metal log. It was thick and solid. Plates were already loaded on each end. The total weight read 300 kilograms. It was marked for advanced training only. Brian bent his knees slightly. He gripped the log in the middle. With a smooth motion, he rolled it onto his shoulders. The bar settled across his back like it weighed nothing. He took a breath, then started walking. Not just walking, he jogged. Up and down the length of the shed. The floor shook a little with each step. Snow outside the window trembled on the sill from the vibration. Clicks froze. His sensors locked on the weight. 300 kilograms. On their homeworld, such a load would require a small vehicle. A Zorath soldier in full armor might carry 100 at most, and only for seconds. Brian carried 3 times that, while moving fast, and he talked at the same time. "So," Brian said between steps, "Lisa, you still coming to movie night tonight? Got that old action flick queued up?" Lisa laughed. "Yeah, as long as Kevin doesn't eat all the popcorn again." Brian kept jogging. Sweat started on his forehead, but his breathing stayed even. After 10 full lengths, he stopped. He lowered the log to the ground gently. It thudded, but did not bounce. One of the Vexari technicians standing behind Clicks made a small sound. His legs buckled. He sat down hard on the mat. His shell color faded to pale green. Lyraven checked him quickly. "He is fine, just overwhelmed." Brian noticed. "You okay, buddy?" The technician nodded weakly. "Your load, it is beyond our limits." Brian looked confused. It's our light log day. We use heavier for real strength sessions." He pointed to another rack in the corner, bars loaded with more plates. Some had 400 kilograms or more. Clixis felt cold spread through his body. Light day. To humans, this was light. Next came bodyweight drills. Kevin and Brian set up on the mats. They did push-ups. Not normal ones. They clapped between each rep. Their hands left the ground completely. Clapped once, then came back down. Fast, smooth, 50 times, without pause. Then pull-ups. Brian jumped to the bar. He pulled himself up until his chin cleared it. Then down. Up again. He did 20 clean reps. No swing, no struggle. Lisa joined in. She was smaller but strong. She did the same pull-ups, her form perfect. The aliens watched in silence. Their own species trained with assisted machines. Even then, 10 pull-ups would be a record for most. After that came sparring. Kevin and Brian faced each other on the mats. No pads, just light contact. "Go easy," Lisa said. "We have guests." They circled. Kevin threw a quick jab. Brian countered with a low kick. Kevin stepped back. They moved fast, but controlled. Then it happened. Kevin grabbed Brian's arm during a clinch. He twisted and threw. Not hard, just a training throw. But Brian flew. His body left the ground. He sailed 4 meters through the air. He twisted mid-flight and landed on his feet, then rolled to absorb the impact. Brian stood up laughing. "Ease up next time, man. That one stung a bit." Kevin grinned. "Sorry, forgot my own strength for a second." The alien stared. 4 meters, through air, from a casual throw. No anger, no full effort, and the thrown human laughed. Lyraven whispered to Clixis, "If that was full power." Clixis finished the thought. The receiver would break. Bones, shell, all of it. Another Vexari recorded the distance. 4.2 meters. Velocity at release, 8 meters per second. Impact force, if uncontrolled, enough to shatter reinforced armor. Brian rubbed his shoulder. Nothing broken. Good throw, though. Megan walked in with water bottles. "You two done showing off?" Kevin took a bottle. "Just warming up." The session continued for another half hour. More lifts, more carries, sandbags tossed like pillows. Tires flipped down the length of the shed. Each action casual, each action extreme. One moment stood out. A heavy kettlebell sat in the corner. It weighed 60 kilograms. Lisa picked it up one-handed. She swung it between her legs, then up over her head. 10 times. Smooth. No grunt. Clixis could not look away. A Zorath would need both arms and a stable base just to hold that weight steady. When the training ended, the humans wiped sweat and drank water. They talked about lunch plans. Normal talk. Normal day. Brian sat on a bench. "So, what did you think?" Clixis answered slowly, "Impressed. Your training uses weights that would destroy our bodies. You treat them as play." Lisa shrugged. We have to hold back. If we didn't, we'd break equipment. Or each other. Kevin nodded. Yeah, most accidents happen when someone forgets to go light. Like that throw just now. Lyraven pulsed brighter. You restrain yourselves every moment? Brian smiled. Pretty much. You get used to it. Don't want to crush a handshake or snap a tool. The aliens exchanged looks. Restrain. Every moment. The idea sank in deep. They left the gym quietly. Back in the main room, the humans showered and changed. The aliens gathered in their section. Clicks opened a secure link to the flagship. Observation log. Human training session. Weights carried. 300 kilograms while moving. Throws, 4 meters with control. All described as routine or light. Subjects report constant self-restraint to avoid damage to objects and others. The reply came. Continue observation. Priority high. Humans may represent uncontrolled power variable. Lyraven looked out the window. Snow glittered under the sun. John walked by outside, carrying 2 large fuel cans, one in each hand. Each can weighed over 50 kilograms. He carried them like grocery bags. She turned to Clicks. They live in restraint, always. But accidents still happen. And when they do, Clicks finished. Things break, things that should not break. The fear grew sharper now, not just from what humans could do, from what they chose not to do. Every day, every action. They watched the humans laugh and eat lunch together. Normal people, normal lives. But to the aliens, normal looked like terror wrapped in calm habit. And the day was not over yet. The afternoon sun hung low over the snow. It made long shadows across the frozen ground. Everything looked calm after the storm. Inside the station, the humans cleaned up from lunch. Plates clinked. Coffee pots refilled. Normal sounds. Outside, high above, a Concorde supply shuttle flew low. It carried spare parts, food packs for the aliens, and medical supplies for the injured Vexari. The shuttle was old, but reliable. Its pilot, a young Zorath named Vexlor, kept it steady. He did not see the thin ice sheet on the landing zone until too late. The shuttle touched down hard. One landing leg punched through the ice. Metal groaned. The craft tilted. Then the reactor in the rear sparked. A low hum turned into a high whine. Warning lights flashed red inside the cockpit. Vexlor tried to shut it down. Nothing worked. The core temperature climbed fast. In minutes, the whole thing would explode. The blast would wipe out the station and poison the snow for kilometers. Vexlor sent a distress call. Reactor unstable. Evacuation impossible. Core breach in 4 minutes. Recommend immediate retreat. On the flagship, the Council received the message. They ordered the lander team to leave at once. No time to save the shuttle. No time to save anyone near it. Clicks received the alert in the main room. His antenna shot up. We must go now. The shuttle will detonate. The radiation will kill everything close. Lyraven stood. Our lander can take us. Hurry. The aliens moved toward the door. Their suits clanked. They did not look back. John Harper heard the alarm through the open channel. He ran to the window. He saw the tilted shuttle. Smoke rose from its rear. That's not good, he said. Lisa Monroe grabbed her coat. Reactor meltdown, we can't just run. The blast will take the station with it. Kevin Brooks looked outside. How long? Clicks answered without turning. Less than 4 minutes now. We cannot stop it. Leave. Megan Torres appeared from the medbay. The injured can't move fast. If we run, we leave them. John shook his head. No, we try to fix it. Lyraven turned. Her light pulsed fast. Fix it? The core is critical. Heat will burn flesh in seconds. You have no suits for that. John grabbed a toolbox. We have tools, and time is short. Come or don't. He ran outside. Lisa followed. Kevin and Megan came right after. Brian Hayes grabbed a fire extinguisher and heavy gloves. He joined them. The aliens hesitated. Then Clicks and Liraven followed at a distance. They watched from behind a snowbank. The shuttle sat crooked. Heat waves rose from the rear hatch. Snow melted in circles around it. John reached the side panel first. He pulled open an access door. Hot air blasted out. He stepped back for a second, then leaned in. "Core valves are jammed," he shouted. "Need to cut through." Lisa handed him an industrial plasma cutter. The tool was heavy, made for machines. John held it steady. He squeezed the trigger. Blue fire cut into the metal hull. Sparks flew. The metal glowed red. His hands did not shake. The cutter handles bent slightly under his grip. He did not notice. Inside the shuttle, Vexlor watched on a cracked screen. He saw humans approach. He clicked in fear. "They come closer. They will die." John cut a hole big enough. Heat poured out like an oven door. He dropped the cutter. It clattered on the ice. He reached in barehanded. His gloves smoked. Skin on his fingers blistered fast. "Valves are locked," he said through gritted teeth. "Need leverage." Kevin climbed up beside him. He grabbed the edges of the hole. Metal edges bent under his fingers like foil. He pulled. The hole widened. More heat rushed out. Megan handed in a long metal bar. "Use this." John took it. He wedged it into the mechanism. He pushed. The bar bent a little. He pushed harder. Muscle stood out on his arms. The valve shifted. Steam hissed. "Almost," he said. Brian went to the rear engine cover. He ripped it open with both hands. Panels tore away like paper. Inside, coolant lines glowed orange. One had burst. Liquid boiled away. "Line's gone," Brian called. "Need to force the backup valve." He reached in. Heat burned his arms through the gloves. Skin turned red fast. He ignored it. His fingers found the valve wheel. It was stuck solid from heat expansion. He gripped hard. Metal creaked. He turned it. The wheel moved, slowly at first, then faster. Coolant rushed through new lines. The whine of the reactor dropped a little. Kevin held the widened hole open. His arms shook from the strain. Heat cooked the air around him. Sweat poured down his face. "John, status." John pushed again on his bar. The main control rod slid into place. A safety lock clicked. The core temperature stopped climbing. It started to fall. "Got it," John said. His voice was rough, stabilized. He pulled back. His hands were raw. Blisters covered his palms. He looked at them like they were minor scratches. "Ouch, that stings." Kevin let go of the hole. The metal sprang back a little. He jumped down. His jacket smoked in places. Brian climbed out last. His forearms looked burned, red and angry. He flexed his fingers. "Still works," he said. Megan ran up with a first aid kit. She sprayed cold foam on their skin. "You idiots. That heat was over 200 degrees. You should be cooked." John smiled weakly. "Felt hotter, but we made it." Lisa stood back, watching. Reactor readings dropping. No breach. They're safe. The aliens watched from their spot. Their scanners recorded every second. Human body temperature rose dangerously. Skin damage registered severe. Yet they kept working. No panic, no screams. Vexlor opened the shuttle door. He stepped out slowly. His suit protected him. He looked at the humans. "You entered the core zone, without protection. Why?" Kevin shrugged. "Couldn't let it blow. Too many people here." John wiped blood from a cut on his hand. "Glad no one got hurt bad." Clicks stepped forward. His voice trembled. "Your flesh burned. Your skin blistered. You felt pain, yet you continued." Brian laughed softly. "Pain happens. You push through. Job's not done till it's done." Liraven pulsed dim. "Our kind would die in that heat in seconds. We have no tolerance. You endured it, and you say it was nothing." Lisa looked at her. "It wasn't nothing. It hurt like hell, but sitting back wasn't an option." The group walked back to the station. The shuttle reactor hummed low and safe now. Technicians from the lander came out to secure it. They stared at the bent metal, the torn panels, the hand-shaped dents. Inside the station, Megan treated the burns. Cool packs, ointment, bandages. John flexed his hands. I'll be fine in a few days. Kevin sat with ice on his shoulders. Next time we bring better gloves. Brian drank water. Or better valves. The aliens gathered in their room again. They sent data up to the flagship. Video of humans ripping metal, entering lethal heat, forcing controls with bare strength and will. Click spoke quietly. They walked into death. They pulled back death. And afterward, John said only, glad no one got hurt. Lyra Venn stared at the wall. Their power is not just muscle. It is the choice to use it, even when it costs them pain, even when it risks everything. One Vexari technician whispered, if they ever decide not to hold back, if they ever feel true anger or fear without restraint. No one finished the sentence. They did not need to. Outside, the sun set. The sky turned orange and pink. The station lights came on again. Humans sat together. They ate soup. They talked about the close call. They laughed at how Brian's gloves melted. Normal evening. Normal people. But the aliens knew better now. Every casual lift, every burned hand ignored, every impossible task done without complaint. It all pointed to one truth. Humans carried strength that could break worlds, and they kept it locked away with nothing more than habit, politeness, care for others. That made them the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. Not because they were cruel, but because they were kind enough to hold back. And if that kindness ever failed, the stars above seemed colder now. The shuttle reactor stayed quiet after the repair. No more smoke, no more alarms. The night came fast and cold. Stars appeared bright above the snow. Inside the research station, lights stayed low. Most people tried to rest. John Harper sat in the medbay. His hands were wrapped in white bandages. Blisters hurt under the gauze, but he ignored it. Megan Torres checked his temperature one last time. You're lucky, she said. No infection. Rest those hands. John nodded. Thanks, Megan. Feels like I grabbed a hot pan. It'll heal. Across the room, Kevin Brooks lay on a cot. Ice packs sat on his shoulders. He stared at the ceiling. Next time I'm wearing 3 layers of gloves, he said. Brian Hayes sat nearby. His arms looked red, but he moved them fine. You say that every time something goes wrong. Lisa Monroe leaned against the wall. She drank water from a bottle. We got lucky today. Real lucky. In the alien section, Clixus, Lyra Venn, and the rest of their team gathered around a small holoscreen. They played back every recording from the day, the bent metal, the torn panels, the humans walking into heat that should have killed them. The calm words after, glad no one got hurt. Those words repeated in slow motion. Clixus turned off the screen. His antenna hung low. We have seen enough. Lyra Venn pulsed dim blue. The council waits for our final report. What do we say? One of the Vexari technicians spoke softly. We say they are monsters, quiet monsters who smile and help. No, Clixus said, not monsters, something worse, something we do not understand. They prepared the lander for departure. The storm damage was fixed. The injured could travel now. They would lift off at dawn. Before they left, they asked for one last meeting with the humans. The group met in the main room. Coffee smelled strong again. The humans looked tired, but calm. The aliens stood in their heavy suits. Clixus spoke first. We thank you. For the rescue, for the welcome, for everything. John smiled. No need for thanks. Just glad you're safe. Lyra Venn looked at each human in turn. We have learned much, more than we expected. Lisa crossed her arms. About what? About strength, Lyraven said. Your strength. You do not see it. You use it like air, like breathing. You do not think about how much force lives in your arms, in your hands, in your will. Kevin laughed a little. We think about it when we pull a muscle or drop something heavy. Brian added, or when we break a tool by accident. Clixus stepped closer. Exactly. Accidents. When you forget to hold back. Even a small forgetful moment breaks things our kind could never break on purpose. John rubbed his bandaged hands. We try not to forget. We like our stuff in one piece, and our friends in one piece. The aliens stood silent for a moment. Lyraven spoke again. We will leave soon. Our people, we will not come back soon. We will watch from far away, with care. Lisa tilted her head. Why? We didn't scare you that bad, did we? Clix answered slowly. You did. Not with anger, not with weapons, with kindness. You hold back every day. You hold back power that could crush ships, crush cities, crush worlds. You hold it back because you care, because you do not want to hurt. That is what frightens us most. Kevin frowned. We're just people. Yes, Lyraven said. People who can lift what machines struggle with. People who walk into fire and come out burned, but alive. People who throw friends 4 meters and laugh after, and then say it was nothing, or sorry for being slow. John looked around at his team. We don't feel like gods. We feel normal. That is the terror, Clix said. You are normal to yourselves. To us you are beyond. If you ever stop holding back, if anger or fear or need makes you use all of it, nothing would stand. Brian spoke quietly. We don't want that. We just want to live, work, help when we can. Lyraven pulsed once, bright then dim. We believe you. That is why we will tell our council to stay away, to never push, to never test. Because if we push too hard, you might stop holding back. The room stayed quiet. Lisa broke the silence. Safe travels. Come back if you ever want to talk again. No explosions next time. Clix made a small clicking sound that might have been a laugh. We will remember that. The aliens left for their lander. The humans watched from the window. The ship rose slow and quiet. It climbed into the dark sky. Soon it was just a small light among the stars. Then, gone. Inside, the humans sat down again. John poured more coffee. Strange visitors. Kevin stretched. Yeah, they acted like we were made of bombs or something. Lisa smiled. Maybe to them we are. Brian looked out at the snow. They saw us lift stuff, fix stuff, burn ourselves, and they got scared of us being nice. Megan walked in from the med bay. Injured aliens are sleeping, stable. They'll be fine. John raised his mug. To not blowing up today. They all laughed. Soft, tired, normal. Outside the wind picked up again. Snow swirled. The station lights glowed warm against the cold. Far above on the Concord flagship, the council gathered. Clix and Lyraven stood before them. Holoscreens showed every moment. The crate lift on day 1, the beam rescue, the training throws, the reactor repair, the burned hands, the calm words. Clix spoke to the silent room. The most terrifying thing about humans is not their weapons, not their ships, not their numbers. It is this. They hardly realize their own strength. They live every day with power that would shatter us. They lift masses that break our machines. They endure heat that cooks our flesh. They throw bodies through air and call it play. And they do all of it while holding back. Always holding back. To keep from breaking doors. To keep from hurting friends. To keep the small things around them safe. Lyraven added, "They apologize when they are slow. They laugh when they hurt. They fix what should kill them. And then they say, 'Glad no one got hurt.'" The council chamber stayed quiet. One elder Zorath finally spoke. "Recommendation?" Clix answered without pause. "Classify humans as protected anomaly. Extreme caution, no direct contact, no provocation, no tests. Observe only from distance. Never give them reason to stop holding back." The vote was quick, unanimous. Humans were marked in the galactic records, not as threat to fight, not as ally to join, as something else, something to fear quietly, something to leave alone. Because if they ever truly tried, if they ever used what they carried without restraint, the galaxy was thin ice, and humans walked on it every day, casually, kindly, without knowing. Back on Earth, the station went back to normal. John healed, Kevin lifted boxes without thinking, Brian trained, Lisa fixed things, Megan cared for the team. They joked about the aliens sometimes. "Remember when they fainted watching Brian carry the log?" Kevin would say. They laughed. They worked. They lived. Unaware. Above them the stars watched, silent, careful. And somewhere in the dark, a small probe floated. It recorded. It sent data. It never came closer. Because the most terrifying thing about humans was true. They hardly realized their own strength, and the galaxy hoped they never would.